Welcome back to the channel, hockey fans. Let's take a look back at the career of one of my favorite players of all time, the iconic blonde demon, the Flower, Guy Lafleur. Canadiens legend Guy Damien Lafleur, born September 20th, 1951, is a former professional ice hockey player who played right wing in the NHL from 1971 to 1991 with the Montreal Canadiens, New York Rangers, and Quebec Nordiques. He is a five-time Stanley Cup winner in 1973, 76, 77, 78, and 1979, all with the Montreal Canadiens. In 2017, he was named one of the 100 greatest NHL players in history. Lafleur became enamored with hockey after receiving a hockey stick for Christmas when he was 5 years old. As a youngster, he played at the Quebec International Pee Wee Hockey Tournament from 1962 to 1964, scoring a tournament record 64 points. He would later play for the Quebec Junior Aces of the Quebec Junior Hockey League from 1966 to 1969. In his final year with the Aces, he scored 50 goals and 110 points in only 49 games. As a teenager, in 1969, he joined the Quebec Remparts of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, where he won a Memorial Cup in 1971, scoring 130 goals and 209 points in just 62 games. The Memorial Cup is one of the hardest trophies to win, as 60 teams participate, with players aged 16 to 21. Guy Lafleur was picked first overall by the Montreal Canadiens in the 1971 NHL entry draft. Sam Pollock, who was Montreal's general manager, was adamant about obtaining one of the two top picks in 1971, being Guy Lafleur or Marcel Dionne. To have access to those players, Pollock convinced Charles Finley, owner of the California Golden Seals, to trade Francois Lacombe and their 1971 first-round pick to Montreal in exchange for Montreal's 1970 first-round pick and defenseman Ernie Hickey. In his first 3 years in Montreal, Lafleur struggled to meet expectations. Consequently, his confidence suffered. By contrast, Marcel Dionne, the number 2 pick in Detroit, was an immediate success, leading his team in scoring. Although Lafleur's numbers weren't terrible in his first 3 years, they do not compare to year 4 and beyond. From 1974 to 1980, Lafleur scored 50 goals or more in 6 consecutive seasons, and never registered less than 119 points in any of those seasons. His most productive campaign was in 1976-77, when he won the NHL scoring race, defeating second-place finisher Marcel Dionne by 14 points. Scoring 56 goals and 136 points in 1977-78, he reached a career high, finding the back of the net 60 times. After winning a 4th straight Stanley Cup in 1979, several key Canadians, Ken Dryden and Jacques Lemaire, retired from hockey, resulting in the team's slow decline. They would lose their bid for a 5th consecutive championship in 1979-80, losing to the Minnesota North Stars in 7 games in round 2. It was also the last time that Lafleur would score 50 goals or more than 100 points. From 1980 to 1985, Lafleur's numbers and ice time began to dwindle. Having nearly been killed in a car accident on March 24, 1981, he fell asleep at the wheel and crashed into a fence, causing a metal post to sever part of his ear. When ex-teammate Jacques Lemaire took over head coaching duties, he incorporated a strict defensive style of play that Lafleur struggled to accept. This created a deep and growing divide between them. Eventually, Lafleur asked for a trade, but general manager Serge Savard declined to trade him, fearing backlash from the fans. With injuries, limited playing time, infighting with head coach Jacques Lemaire, and the emergence of superstars Mike Bossy and Wayne Gretzky, Lafleur became exasperated and retired from hockey. Lafleur's retirement was mainly due to his acrimonious relationship with head coach Jacques Lemaire. Lafleur felt that he was still a valuable asset and could produce offense that was more than enough to offset any defensive shortcomings. Many of his teammates agreed and felt that he retired far too soon. Superstar defenseman and teammate Larry Robinson tried to convince him to stay. Still, Guy was at the end of his rope. With what he felt to be Lemaire's stifling defensive style and his diminished ice time that effectively crippled his electrifying talents. "I am empty. I have no more energy left for hockey. Even if I had a big offer, I can't do it anymore," he told his wife. Lafleur's last game was against the Detroit Red Wings. The next day, on November 26, 1984, Serge Savard held a press conference at the Forum, making it official. Lafleur admitted that he decided to quit hockey after the second period of the Detroit game, after again requesting more ice time. Apparently, Lemaire promised to give him more ice time, but didn't deliver. Lafleur guesses that he played 6 minutes that game. 19 games into the 1984-85 season, Lafleur had 2 goals and 5 points. In 1988, Lafleur returned to the NHL, this time in a Rangers jersey. In an exhibition game against the Edmonton Oilers, he impressed Mark Messier so much that the Oilers star convinced Rangers general manager Phil Esposito to sign Lafleur to a 1-year contract. In his return to Montreal, Lafleur scored 2 goals in a 7-5 loss. Every time he touched the puck, Habs fans would erupt in chants of "Guy, Guy, Guy." Lafleur played his final 2 seasons in Quebec City for the Nordiques under his former Rangers coach Michel Bergeron, the Little Tagger. Nearing the end of his NHL career, Lafleur turned down an offer to join Wayne Gretzky and play for the Los Angeles Kings. In the 1991 expansion draft, he received an offer to play for the Minnesota North Stars, but he had decided to retire from professional hockey for the second and last time. On September 26, 2019, Lafleur underwent quadruple bypass heart surgery. On November 28, 2019, he had a second surgery to remove the upper lobe of a lung and lymph nodes due to his cancer diagnosis. In October 2020, he announced that his lung cancer had returned. Dr. Mustafa Tefi, oncologist hematologist at the hospital, said Lafleur would begin immunotherapy and chemotherapy. Lafleur had joined forces with the Centre Hospitale, the University de Montreal Foundation, as an ambassador to help raise money for cancer research in tandem with the Guy Lafleur Fund. Many other NHL celebrities have pledged their support to aid Lafleur in his fight. Wayne Gretzky, Patrick Roy, Mario Lemieux, and Yvan Cournoyer. In the fall of 2020, Crystal Films announced that they are currently developing a movie about the life of Guy Lafleur. Producer Christian LaRouche has been given the go-ahead from the Lafleur family. The script will be written by Luc Picard. A director has yet to be determined. Lafleur died on April 22, 2022, at age 70, exactly 1 week after Mike Bossy, who also succumbed to lung cancer. Both smoked heavily during their playing days. Both were Quebec natives, whose contemporary careers as star right-wingers were often compared. He was given a national funeral on May 3, 2022, in Montreal, Quebec. Lafleur is the all-time leading scorer in Canadiens history, notching 1,246 points, made up of the club's second highest behind Maurice Rocket Richard all-time goals with 518, and the most all-time assists with 728 in his 14 years with Montreal. He led the NHL in points in 1976, 1977, and 1978. He tied for a Montreal club record with Steve Shutt for goals in a season with 60 in 1977-78, and holds the franchise record for points in a season with 136 in 1976-77. Lafleur became the first player in NHL history to score at least 50 goals and 100 points in 6 consecutive seasons, all as a Hab. Lafleur was also the fastest player at the time to reach 1,000 points, doing so in only 720 games. That record has since been broken by Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and 3 others. Guy Lafleur, known as the Flower and the Blonde Demon, was a legendary ice hockey player who was celebrated for his exceptional playing style and achievements. He led the Montreal Canadiens to 5 Stanley Cup victories, becoming a hero in Quebec and an icon in the sport. After retiring, he was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1988, forever cementing his legacy as one of hockey's greats. Hey hockey fans, if you like this content, please hit that subscribe button. You can also follow my blog at https://tedtalkshockey.com, and remember to keep your stick on the ice. Thanks for watching.